everybody, unfortunately, in skateboarding at that time came from a broken home, came from divorced parents, from this, from that. Their brothers were in jail, their sister, their mom, their whatever. And everybody had this grunge to them. And you knew it, and you just looked at everybody as, that's my brother. That's my sister. That's my family. You know what I mean? And now I love skateboarding, and I'll never give up on skateboarding because it is my life. It is my whole soul, my everything. So it doesn't matter where and how these kids change it. It'll still always be that Jay Adams, that bullshit that nobody cared about. Nobody cared about you. You were the least famous, the least to succeed, the least to be anything in high school. You were just the kid that wanted to be on the fucking board and riding a curb. And that's how it'll always be in my head.
Yeah. Yeah, it was like very adjacent to punk, very adjacent to like
well,
DIY.
Everybody back then was in a band.
Yeah.
Like look at just look at every pro skateboarder back in the day. Everybody was in a punk band. Now everybody's a rapper, which is the same thing. Good for them. I fucking love it. You know what I mean? Make music, make memories, have fun, fucking thrash the shit out of everything you can. Burn it down. That's the motto of skateboarding.
Yeah. Were you aware of that? Like LA is right over there. I could take a bus, or I could take a car. Like all these spots are there and all that shit.
Nope. I mean, I never knew shit about California, and it wasn't until I think we were around 13, our parents started once a year saying, oh, let's go to Newport Beach. And I remember I came back the very first time, and I just learned all those tricks, and I've been skating for almost a year now, or about a year. I've gotten pretty good in my head. And we went to Huntington Beach, or Newport, and then Huntington and all that. And I was like, I just remember looking at my mom and going, why the fuck are we going back to Vegas? This is it. This is the paradise. This is the mecca of everything. I don't care about the beach. There's skaters everywhere. It's not like, in Newport, it was like you went to walk outside your house, or we were on the boardwalk, and you would just see people all day skateboarding back and forth. Yeah. I never seen skaters. There was me and my friend at high school, and there was 2 other friends at the other high school, and there was 2 other friends at the other high school. And besides that, everybody else was older than us. So we were just the young groms. Now there was just kids everywhere, and I just was blown away. Why the fuck are we going home? I made like 15 friends, and all I did was walk outside the house. Then it was a wrap from there. I was like, we're coming to California as often and as much as we can. We'll steal cars, because buses, you couldn't take a bus back then. When you're 13, 14, whatever, you don't have permission from a parent. You can't just get on a Greyhound. So by the time we were 14, we were stealing our friends' mom's cars. They'd be at work or go on a vacation. We'd be like, we'll go to California for the day. And I'd say I'm spending the night. And I remember that's how I got busted. And I was grounded for a long time. Was we stole my friend's mom's car at 15. We've already done the trip like 20 times, but we did it at 15, and we went driving because we didn't know how to get to LA. So we'd drive to Huntington and then take the 405 all the way up. So it was like we'd spend an extra 3 hours that we shouldn't have, but we were driving, and I got stuck in between 2 semis. I was 15, and I fucking went around them at like 100 and something, and I got pulled over.
Oh shit.
And they ended up fucking busting us for everything. And then our parents were like, what the fuck were you doing? And we were like, well, we used to leave at 6 o'clock in the morning. We knew we can be in LA by 10, skate till fucking 5 in the afternoon, and be home before you even knew that we were even gone. And she just tripped out. And that's after she heard all those stories. She was like, you can just go. I already know you're going to go anyways.
So you were 17 when you moved out there?
Yeah.
And what was that like when you arrived there?
Well, I moved there with 5 friends. And within 3 weeks of moving there and his mom. So it was like a 2-bedroom apartment right in LA off the 10 freeway right before it hits the 405. And 3 weeks in, me and the kid that it was him and his mom, I got in a huge fight with him because he was just being a little grumpy bitch. And he kicked me out. And I remember I was sleeping in my car for about a month or two, telling my mom I still lived there. We went to a trade show in San Diego, and we were pulling back up on the 10 freeway. Me and my friend Eric, we met at the 15 and 10 freeway to have lunch. And I said, I give up, man. It's not going to happen. I'm going to go home. And he was a year or 2 older than me. And he was like, stop being a bitch, dude. You can do this. Figure it out. We'll make it happen. You're my best friend. And we spent like 2 hours talking. And I was like, you're right. And I convinced my mom, or told my mom I was still living at these people's houses. Went and slept in Venice Beach found different trees and slept for like 8 months. And then one day I ran into this dude, Anthony Mosley. And he was like, yo, you can come stay at my house tonight. And I was there for maybe an hour. And fucking, oh no, before that happened, I was still homeless. And 9/11 happened. And that same morning 9/11 happened, me and Jamie Owens went out and I backsmith Beverly 12. And then my board broke after I landed it. And we went to Melrose to buy a new board because I knew a skate shop was there. And it must have been 2:00 in the afternoon. There was this guy in an Escalade honking the horn, holding an American flag out the street in his car. And he's just rolling down the street. And we were like, damn, that's Chad Muska. And a couple minutes later, Muska was skating down the street. And we were like, hey, man, you're from Vegas. We have all the mutual friends. And he goes, oh, I'm going to this skate shop, Brooklyn Projects. Do you have a sponsor me tape or just a tape? And I was like, yeah. And I gave him the tape. Very first thing was the backsmith that I just landed like 2 hours before. Soon as it plays that, he presses stop and goes, I don't need to see the rest. You're on Ghetto Child, Shorties, this, that, Circa, everything.